practice and a discipline, I am trying to understand first how the consumer makes choices.
Yeah.
In particular, starting with discovery. How do they even find your product? And look, that could be starting from a search engine, from word of mouth, from signaling in social media, being on Reddit. So when you think about that, like, how do they make choices? It's like, well, how does the product get discovered, and how do they consider you? And then what is the pathway of decisioning? And
Yeah.
then that, like, consumers in my mind don't live in a funnel. They're on a journey. We
Yeah.
live in one continuous life stream, so decisions are made in that vein. And then that gets you to, okay, so where should we play? Like, what platform should we show up on based upon how they choose us in the category we're in? I watch every brand do the same thing that every other brand is doing when they're in very different categories, and the choices and decisioning is very, very different. Different orientation, different level of complexity. There are different emotional triggers that go along with it. So the answer isn't, we're going to buy Meta. Like,
Yeah.
that is not the default, but that is the default decisions because it's a safe place, it's not risky. We're going to buy Google search. Well, how do
Yeah.
you know that they're searching in Google versus searching on TikTok?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where the starting point has to be, is really understanding how the consumer buys what you are selling. And it makes no difference if it's a product or a service. But that's usually always where I start. That way you stay true to what consumers do. I always tell people, yeah, you're doing that, but people don't do that. Humans don't do that. Consumers don't do that. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And people are surprised when I say that. I'm like, well, you didn't figure that out first. And that always has to be like the starting point.